What's going on, guys? Pegasus and the Wise Guys. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you sub. Make sure you hit the bell, guys. This is a tech time where we're talking about all exceeds. So let's jump into this one, shall we? Alrighty, guys. So there'll be three different exceeds that we'll be talking about. But in this first one, I wanted to talk about Insector Ex-Beetle. It's a very old card. It was it's mainly an Insector card, obviously from the name, but it's been known for a little bit of time. And let's start with that. It takes 2 level 6s, and it says when this card is XYZ summoned, you can target one monster in either graveyard and equip that target to this card. This card gains attack and defense equal to half the original attack and defense of the monster equipped to it by this effect. Once per turn, you can attach one XYZ material from this card, then target one face-up card on each field and send them both to the graveyard. Now, guys, I'm mentioning this card because of specific decks like Drytron, specific decks like Virtual World, etc., where you can simply equip a card like Buster Destruction Sword onto this monster, getting it into the graveyard, whether it be the Natural Waves of Virtual World with the Trap card that's right next to it. Anything inside of these decks, whether that be a Foolish Burial, whether it be Beatrice, inside of both of the decks, inside of a deck like Drytron as well, where Megalith Full can help you extend into an extra rank 6. These are just multiple things to consider, and being able to equip a card like this inside of Virtual World can be relatively decent in my opinion. At least having a substantial inboard of locking your opponent out of the extra deck can devastate your opponent to where Droplet and Dark Ruler won't be enough, and having a card like Zhang Wu to be able to dump a card like this when you get it inside of your hand, it's just something to consider. There are other multiple ways that you could also get it out onto the field. I obviously believe there's multiple ways to dump it into the grave inside of these decks, but for any deck that can play multiple rank 6s inside of a turn, I feel personally this is definitely something that you have to consider. And obviously some of these decks play Foolish Burial Goods. As far as the Megaliths, again, as far as Drytron being another meta deck that can make multiple rank 6s, it's just something to consider. Being able to have this lock on the board can make your opponent have to open a Dark Ruler and a Droplet, as well as other back row removal in order to be able to play. It's just something to think about, guys. I don't know if that's going to be the greatest thing ever, but it's definitely something potent that everybody should at least think about. The next card I wanted to talk about is Mannequin Cat, and the interaction that I've seen inside of a few decks that I've seen on Dueling Book, a few decks online. There's even a profile or two on our own page where we have Tri-Brigade and multiple other decks that can actually end on rank 2s. Anything basically in Tri-Brigade with the Karas and with some of the other monsters that are in the main deck. I definitely feel that Mannequin Cat is something that people have to give strong consideration to. Usually Sky Cavalry is the card that everybody plays, but with Mannequin Cat being able to steal an opponent's card out of their graveyard, as well as be able to take a card out of yours as a counterbalance to it a little bit, I definitely think this is a strong card to have in your extra deck, for the simple fact that if they Ash Blossom you anytime during your turn, if you're playing Tri-Brigade, or even if they Ash Blossom the Fractal directly, I definitely feel that that's something strong to be able to then bring Fractal back and be able to extend farther. It's not going to be the greatest thing that's ever been known to man inside of Tri-Brigade, but I definitely feel like this is something that any Tri-Brigade player should consider playing. It isn't widely known, but it's known enough that I feel like people have seen it slowly but surely, and it's definitely becoming a card that's becoming an option inside of people's extra deck. I mean, if you're just playing Sky Cavalry, why not at least consider the card? The last card is Crooked Cook. So in the last one, I wanted to talk about Crooked Cook, and Crooked Cook number 59 has been a card that's been known for a while that can basically stall your opponent out, and it's basically because it's unaffected by other card effects in period. Having a card like Astro Kuribo that just came out, it was a Shonen Jump reveal, and it just came out in the subset that we just got out on the street date basically. I really feel like this is a strong chance for people to try to at least study up on rank 4s and figure out some stupid stuff like this. And Crooked Cook is probably the first one that's popped up, but there's much more than that. Astro Kuribo, basically by revealing a rank monster, it can copy the level, and then as material under something, it can actually not die by battle or card effects. So being able to have that under a card like Crooked Cook basically makes it where it's a stalwart for your opponent, a lot like Mystic Mind, where your opponent is simply unable to play. Now, obviously, guys, with the plenty of other rank 4s that are entering the fray, it's just something to think about. Make sure you guys stay tuned for the Utopia combo video that we'll be doing rather soon, because it is a lot to consider and a lot to look at, and there's a lot of combos and such. But we got local stuff coming up soon, we got event stuff coming up soon, and there's plenty more. Guys, I hope these techs are something that you can consider. If you feel like they can help be force multipliers, try them out. If you think they won't stick at all, don't try them out. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I'm out. Pegasus out.